Eric here from Visualping. I'm on the marketing team, and this is your 47 alerts into one report webinar. This is all about the Visualping Reports feature that we recently launched in April 2026. I think this is an awesome feature and actually one of the most exciting features, at least for me as a Visualping user, and not only someone who works here, to get value out of. And so this webinar is really about the Visualping Reports feature, how you use it, why it's useful, and sort of some of the cool things that you can do with it. So without further ado, I'm actually going to share my screen, go into my Visualping dashboard, and I'll start talking a bit about the reports. So Visualping Reports, I guess the origin of this as a feature really comes from the idea that, and speaking from experience, when you're a Visualping user and you have one or two or three pages that you're monitoring, it's fairly easy, depending on how frequently those pages update, of course, to sort of manually vet and go through your alerts. Obviously, Visualping rolled out important alerts last year, and obviously you're getting AI summaries with every change that we're capturing. So now you're already filtering between important changes and less important changes, or changes that don't get into your inbox. And now to take that a step further, for a lot of people who are maybe monitoring 1 to 3 pages, they may be fine reviewing each alert as it comes through into their inbox. But what happened for me personally is, as I started to monitor 10, 20, 50, 100, 250, 500, even in some workspaces, over 1,000 pages, even filtering for just the important alerts, or even in this case today, only receiving important alerts on a day-to-day basis or even a week-to-week basis, still can be overwhelming. And so we rolled out Visualping Reports to solve just for that. So what is Visualping Reports? I'm logged into my account here, and if you're a business account user or you're a female user, you might still see this icon here in the middle of my dashboard and this panel here, where this nice new icon is where you'll find reports. I'll click on reports and the side panel will pop up. So this is Visualping Reports, and this is being done or running off of my S&P 500 tracker workspace. You can see that here. I can run it off my other workspaces if you are an account that has access to other workspaces, of course. And the point of this, so the way that this works, is that it will let me take all the important alerts I received on a specific date range. I can then give it a specific context, so what we call report summary and analysis. So I'll get into that in a moment. So I'll take the date range, I'll take the context, and then it's going to produce a report that's sort of a summary of all the summaries, or all the reports, or alerts rather, that I received in that time period. So think of it as getting a report on all the alerts I got on 1 week, on a specific day, specific month, even a specific year if I wanted, and then running that either on a calendar on a scheduled basis, or running it ad hoc, meaning I can run it at will at any time just by logging in. So here you'll see a couple things. The side panel shows new, history, and schedule. So I'll start at new. So this is where I can create a report ad hoc in the moment. I would pick a date range. So in this case, we could do something like, let's do this Monday to this Friday. And then I can add that context that I was talking about. So here I could say, highlight the top changes as it pertains to executive leadership changes. So on this given report, it's going to sort of sculpt and filter through a lens of this prompt that I'm giving it. But this prompt could change. I'm saying executive leadership changes this time, but maybe next time it's, changes as it pertains to product pricing. Or I could even give it more context and say, I'm a competitive intelligence analyst, and I want to know when any of my competitors this past week, in this example, have made any changes at all that might be relevant to me as an analyst, or as a product marketer, or as a pricing manager, or as a recruiter, or an accountant, or anything in between. You can provide that context. You can also provide context in terms of the summary shape. So you can say, the top 5 changes, I want them delivered in a chart or in a specific language, etc. And the report will do that for you. So next, you'll see a couple of options here. So what changes to include in the report? So by default, and for 80% of people, I would guess, you want to keep these important changes, which is the siren or the alarm here with the changes versus all changes, which might include things you don't care about. And then you could talk about the layout. So in the report, every single change detected in that time period will be shown. In this case, I want to see both the current screenshot, the before and after, so the previous, and then the markup is you'll see that in a moment, but anything they might see afterwards. So I can then also filter, as you can see here, by a couple of different options. The most useful one, I think, for a lot of people is filtering by labels. So, I can say, actually, this is an S&P 500's page, S&P 500 workspace, but only create the report based on the jobs that I've tagged or labeled as careers pages. So what I would do is hit view report, and then it would go and chew through, and you get your reports delivered. Your report will then show up in history, of course, as you might expect. And then I can actually jump into a report, and we can see what it kind of looks like. So in this case, this is a report, again, to ground this discussion on the S&P 500 workspace that I have. So I have various web pages on S&P 500 publicly traded companies that I'm monitoring. And in this case, I ran a very simple report. I think I actually have a better example to show you. And that was similar to the prompt that I was just talking about, which was around executive leadership changes. So this is what a Visualping report will look like. You can see here there's sort of a short summary at the top. Again, this talks about executive and governance actions related to executive leadership changes. I can see a couple of key changes that occurred during that time period. So this was April 13th to April 24th, 2026. And then a short sort of chart here that's easy to sort of digest at a glance. Some other changes. And now as I scroll down further, these are all the changes or all the alerts that were captured in those 2 weeks in this workspace that then contributed to this high-level brief or higher-end summary here. So if I go back, you might see that this report is actually built on, I believe, close to, well, I can go and see. No need to guess. 31 changes that occurred in those 2 weeks, because monitoring a lot of pages. And so again, this is a great way for someone to synthesize or aggregate all those changes into one nice, easy to understand report that gets to the heart of what I care about, which in this case was executive leadership changes. And of course, for you, it might be something else. Just looking through very briefly, you could see, the big news at the time was obviously the shifting of Tim Cook from Apple's CEO out. And there's a number of other changes there, of course. And then what's interesting here is now you can actually see each individual change, and you can append and annotate on these individual changes as well. So if you're working with a team, or even for your own personal notation and use case, you can come here and see, okay, this individual change was around the Procter & Gamble fiscal year, and you can leave notes and comments here. So I'm logged in as Eric. Obviously, my comments are left as my own. But if I'm in a team or shared workspace, others can engage and work as well, so that we're all talking about the same thing in the same place, which is awesome. So how might they do that? Well, you can actually share this report. So you can share the ID or the link here. You can also share it as a CSV in Excel or an HTML file. Of course, you can also download it, which is this icon here, and you can email it to someone as well. So very, very interesting way, again, to not only take that brief that's captured all your alerts in that given week, semi-month, whatever, 2 weeks, that month, etc., and turn it into one nice, easy to understand report is awesome. One of the things that I have seen and personally sort of felt even before I worked at Visualping was like, again, if you're monitoring 10, 25, 50 pages, sometimes it can be difficult to follow up with alerts individually, even though that they're meaningful. You might be busy that day, your inbox starts to fill, etc. what do you do? Well, this is a great way to sort of get at the heart of it and say, okay, well, I'm curious, or I care most about executive leadership changes in this case, but I can rerun this report. I can go into reports. I can go to new. I can pick those exact same dates, and I can sort of give it another prompt for other contexts. Maybe I want to know if any new products were launched, right? I could simply just write that in here in natural language, hit view report, and I'm going to get the same sort of body of changes that were captured, the 2,371, will be captured in the report, but it's now going to give me that summary under a different lens, which is really useful and easy to do on demand. So the last thing I sort of want to talk about is actually schedule. So this is the third sort of tab there, and it's the same or very similar to the new tab in terms of what you're going to be doing, which is building a report. But now I can schedule it on a reoccurring basis. So I don't have to go in and click the couple buttons and write that prompt every time. Let's say I want to know about executive leadership changes every week, Monday at 9 a.m., because why not? I would create and craft my prompt here. And again, as I mentioned, this prompt will persist through each run of this report. And then same thing as before, I want my important changes covered. I can, if I so choose to, can filter by certain statuses. So I want this obviously on active pages in this case. I want it on pages that I'm monitoring every minute, every hour. Maybe it doesn't matter to me, maybe just all. Or like I said, my favorite is the labels. I would hit schedule report, and then I won't get that report immediately, but Monday at 9 a.m. when I'm just about to finish my coffee and log on for the day to get the day started, I'll have that Visualping report in my inbox ready to be worked on, to be reviewed, to share with others, maybe share with my boss, share in Slack, whatever it might be. Reports, as I mentioned, are available to all business users today, right now. They're also available to you if you sign up to Visualping IO today and opt in for a free business 14-day trial. There's no commitment. There's no credit card required. You're not going to get an invoice afterwards. You can sign up for a free Visualping account, opt into a 14-day business trial, get access to all our awesome business features, which include Visualping reports, native integrations with Slack and Teams, Google Sheets, etc. And if you're not a Visualping business user and you're a free user, you're also able to use things like webhooks. You also get API keys. So everyone gets access to API keys in the developers tab in their Visualping dashboard. And there's no limitations on those credits. So perhaps one of the future webinars we do is going to be sort of setting you up in Claude Code or in Codex using Visualping, which will be fun too. But similarly, you can use Visualping reports through your Claude and through your Codex as well. All right. Thanks so much for watching. This is Eric with Visualping, and have a great day. I'll see you.